Hello.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi,
Nice to meet
Laura.
you again. Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot for accepting my invitation. It was really lovely because I'm really interested to know more about Brazil. It's an amazing country, amazing people. I met a lot of Brazilians here, so it would be really great to know more. And
Yeah,
let's start. And first of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? Anything you like to share with us?
sure. So I'm Lindsay and I'm from Canada, but I've lived in Brazil for the last 7 years and in this beautiful island called Florianopolis in the south. And I am a musician, I'm a singer-songwriter. I write music for children. I focus on writing positive, heart-centered songs for kids. And I also play in a band here in Floripa. That's the nickname of the island, Florianopolis. And yeah, I do just a bunch of different musical things. I'm a ukulele teacher as well. So yeah, lots of musical stuff going on. I have a wonderful husband who you'll hear all about, and I have two beautiful children as well. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's really great. And what type of music do you like the most, and what music do you play normally?
I like all kinds of different music. I play a lot of pop and soul and reggae and jazz in my band, but in my work with children's music, I do mostly folk style. And yeah, but I love all kinds of music, especially music that puts you in a good mood and makes you want to dance.
What about Latin American music? Do you like it?
Oh yes, I love it. I love especially like Brazilian music is just the best. I love bossa nova, samba, pagode. There are some styles that I don't like too much, but overall, they have such great music. And other Latin American styles as well, like salsa, cumbia. I love that too.
Are you also dancing maybe or not? Some South American dances? Did you learn
Uh,
something there?
I would love to dance more actually, but right now it's not really part of my routine, other than just kind of dancing in the kitchen by myself. But yeah, I used to be a Zumba instructor actually in
Oh
Canada.
wow.
So yeah, I kind of miss that, but it hasn't really happened here yet.
Yeah, that's really great. And I would like to ask you to share with us your beautiful love story. I'm sure many girls already read it in my profile, but I would like you to repeat it again. It's really amazing how you met your husband. Can you please share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite stories.
Yes,
So
I can
I,
imagine.
yeah. So back when I was about 23 years old, I was really into Christianity and I was a Christian missionary. And I traveled to Brazil with a team of four other people. And we were here and in where I live now in Florianopolis, and we were working with a church, and we met some people that were getting married in this church, and they asked me and a couple of the team members if we would like to sing at the wedding because we were kind of musical. And so we agreed and we went to the wedding and we sang at the wedding and it was a really beautiful time. And then there was this guy at the wedding and he introduced himself to us and we chatted for a while, but I wasn't really in the space of like looking for love. I mean, when you're at that age, it's always in the back of your mind, but it wasn't really something that I was supposed to do as a missionary. Like we were supposed to be there focusing on God and, and spreading the love to people, not looking for love yourself. Sometimes, though, that just happens and there's nothing you can do about it. So, anyways, during this wedding, there was kind of a time where people were allowed to go and play music if they wanted to. So he went up to the stage and he started singing a song. I think it was Don't Worry, Be Happy. And I was just like, oh, who is that singing? Like, I was really impressed by the voice and like the confidence. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then, yeah, so we had been talking to him that night and we invited him to come over and hang out with our team and stuff. And I didn't really think that it would happen, but I didn't think much of it. But later on, he told me that at the wedding, he told his friends that he was going to marry me. So I always thought that was so funny. And, you know, sometimes it ends up happening. So yeah, so then we spent like just 2 weeks hanging out as a team with him, and we had so much fun together, and we got to know each other, and it was just a really beautiful time. And we were like falling in love, but I was very like quiet about it. I was trying to like hide my feelings and hide my interest because I was like the leader of the team, and I wasn't supposed to be, you know, falling in love with the
Yes.
locals. But he as a Brazilian was more like forward with his intentions and feelings, and that was really cool for me because I don't know, as a Canadian, like I wasn't used to that. I had never had someone just like come up to me and be like, hey, I want to go on a date with you, or, you know, like it was always like this, like, does he like me? Does he not like me? I don't know. And with Noonie, it was just like, oh, he likes me. Okay, interesting. Then it just kind of went from there. So yeah, so that was like the beginning of our story. At the end of our 2 weeks, we had a very like tearful goodbye, and because I was going back to South Africa where I was living before, and then I was going back to Canada, and we didn't know, you know, when we were going to see each other again or anything like that. So yeah, we stayed in touch for a little while, and then I had this crisis within myself where I was like, what is happening? Who is this person? I don't want another long distance relationship because those are just super annoying. I've had them before. They're no fun. Yeah. And I didn't know that, like, I've only known this person for 2 weeks. I'm going back to Canada. He's in Brazil. Like, this is just crazy. Even though, like, my heart was, like, very much still, like, in love and happy and stuff. But I felt like I had this message from God saying, like, you need to just stop all communication with him and you know, and then see if your feelings go away. And so I did that, and he was actually really like respectful, and I think he was really sad that we were not going to be talking anymore, but he respected it. And then 5 months went by. We didn't talk at all. We didn't write letters or emails or chat or like nothing. And every single day we both felt like this. In Brazil, they say saudade, which is like this intense missing or like longing for someone. So we both felt that. And I remember it was on my birthday, June 15th. I was going for a walk, and I was like praying to God, like, God, when is this going to end? This is horrible. And I had this like voice in my head saying, like, if he writes you today, it's okay. And I was like, oh, he's not going to write me today. I haven't heard from him in 5 months. And sure enough, I got home, and there was an email from him. And it was just like, hey, happy birthday, with a link to this, to YouTube. And I opened it up, and it was this song, him singing this song that he wrote for me. And it was just the most beautiful thing ever. And I was just crying. And then I ended up writing a song for him kind of in response, saying like, soon I felt like soon it was gonna be the time for us to like end this period. And yeah, I think like a month later we started talking again. And we started like, we're like, okay, we still like love each other, and it's been 5 months. So like, clearly this isn't going away. Like we gotta do something. So, yeah, so we like online dated for about 4 or 5 months, and then he like sold some stuff, bought a ticket to Canada, and we got married like 4 months later.
Wow, that's amazing. So you got married in Canada?
Yes, in the Yukon, which is next to Alaska. So it was like total different scenario. Like you went from Brazil in the summertime, which was, I think it was like 30 something degrees Celsius, and then in Canada it was minus 30 degrees. So so it was like, that was loud.
How did you survive in this type of weather?
It was so crazy. Yeah. So yeah, he came to the Yukon, and we got married, and that was or over 11 years ago.
Wow, that's amazing. But did you ever think that you will be married with a foreigner?
I don't know. I hadn't really given it much thought. I didn't really, I didn't think so, but I was pretty open to whatever life brought. So
But what was the reaction of your family when you told them that you're in love with Brazilian?
yeah, I think, they were a little bit concerned because, there's some countries that have a reputation of,
Yes.
just marrying someone from another country in order to obtain, a visa or something like
Yeah.
that. And, it's sad, but it does happen. And, I was quite sure that that wasn't the case. And I reassured them, and now we always joke now because I live here in Brazil. We always joke like I actually married you so that I could come and live in Florianopolis because it's this like beautiful island, which of course is not true, but yeah, so they were like a little bit concerned, but they also trusted me. And when they met him, they were like, we really like him. He's really great. And yeah, so they were fine.
Yeah, but I think it's not possible not to like Brazilian people. You live in Brazil. People I met here, they're simply amazing. They're so friendly. They're so warm. They don't know you. They just start hugging you, kissing you. It's really amazing. So is it really like that? Because you are
Yeah,
living among them. What do you feel? How are Brazilians? What are the main qualities? Would you tell us? How are they?
yeah.
What makes them
I love
different from
Brazilians.
others?
I love Brazilians, I must say. They are very friendly, very warm. Like just the culture of like when you meet someone, either for the first time or for the second time or whatever, you don't just like say hi or just shake their hand. You like hug them and kiss them like on the cheek. If it's a girl to a guy, you kind of
Yes.
sometimes people will like actually kiss you on the cheek, or sometimes it's kind of like a cheek to cheek kiss, but there's always like some physical contact, which like it's kind of a little thing, but when you do that every day with different people, it's just like it makes things more friendly, shall we say.
Yes,
And I
yes,
really
yes.
like that. I am a very friendly, warm person myself, so I think that suits me just fine. Yeah, so they're very friendly. I'd say like they love life. They love having fun. They
Yes.
love partying. They love music and dancing, and like they're not shy, for the most part. They're more outgoing, and I really like all of that. So
Yes, yes, me too. Because for some people, it's probably shock when someone just come and start hugging you. Because I had a friend, she's from Belgium, and she was married to a Brazilian guy. And I
mhm.
remember she told me when she went to Brazil for the first time, everyone on the street simply came and started hugging her, and she was kind of, oh my God, what's going on? So she didn't expect that, and for her it was shock. But in the end, she really liked it. I think when you live in this atmosphere, you start liking it a lot because people are really friendly. They're full of life. Their music is also full of life. I think they dance all the time. They're very musical people. That's what I can feel.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. There's some
Yes.
people that aren't as much into physical touch and hugging and stuff, so for them it might be a little bit too much, but if you're okay with hugs and stuff, then you're gonna like it a lot.
Yes, I'm sure I will like it. I really wish to visit Brazil one day. It's a really beautiful country, and I think it's so
Oh yeah.
different. So you probably traveled a lot in Brazil. Can you tell us what is your favorite place and why?
Well, actually, I haven't traveled that much in Brazil. I think because the island that I live on is just so beautiful, and it's like the vacation spot for like all of Brazil, basically. So I kind of live in the best spot, I think. And I have traveled a lot around the island, and I have traveled to Sao Paulo and Curitiba, and Criciúma. I think those are pretty much the only other places I've been. And I gotta say, Florianopolis is the best place that I've been. It's just there's so many beautiful spots within the island. There's trails and there's lots of different beaches and music, and the people are great. So it's just wonderful here.
Yeah, you're living in a paradise, I think. But is it easy to
Yeah.
reach there? How do you go there? Do you first fly to São Paulo, or can you fly directly to this island?
I think when you fly into Brazil, you pretty much have to go through Sao Paulo, maybe Rio. I'm not too sure, but you would go to one of those places and then get like a 1 hour flight to Florianopolis, and then you land right on the island. So you're here.
It's amazing. I'm sure it's wonderful warm weather all the time there, and I'm sitting here. It's so cold. Okay, today it's luckily it's sunny day, but normally it's gray and cold. I'm sure you know how it feels. How did you feel about this type of weather? Because you are from Canada, and it's always cold there most of the time. How did you adjust to the warm weather, or it was not a problem for you?
Well, I must say that I suffer a little bit in the summertime. Luckily here in Florianopolis, we have like distinct seasons. So we have some summertime and we have wintertime. And the wintertime is, you know, for me, it feels like springtime in Canada. So I like it quite a lot. And the summer can be pretty hot, but there are some good things about it. Like it makes you go to the beach. It makes you go like want to be with water and want to be out in nature and stuff like that. So I'm actually missing the summer right now. It's still kind of springtime and we've been having some chilly, rainy days. And I'm like, oh my gosh, when is it going to be summer? But I know when it's summer and I'm sweating, I'm going to be like, oh, when is it going to be winter? So I'm just trying to enjoy the good parts of every season, but yeah, it's not so bad. I think that you do get used to it, and it's not as hot as like up in the north of Brazil where it's just warm all the time. I think I would struggle a little bit more living there where I didn't have a break from the heat, but since I live here, it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's great. I see one comment. I don't know. Can you see comments?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know how to pronounce this place correctly. You should go to
Minas Gerais.
Where is it? Is it far
Yes.
from you?
I am not exactly sure how far it is. I think it's not so far, but I do have a couple of friends from there, and I know that it's like the hometown of this really great food of Brazil called pão de queijo, which is cheese bread. And yeah, I definitely need to go there. I will make that. I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, I'm sure it's beautiful there. Everywhere is beautiful. My friend, she's living in São Paulo now. She's impressed of the city as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully one day I can see it myself, because I really want to see South America in general, because all the countries are amazing there. There's a lot to see, I think. And let's go back to your marriage. So you got married in Canada, and did you stay in Canada for some time, or did your husband went back to Brazil after you got married?
We stayed in Canada for 4.5 years.
4.5.
And then we decided to move back to Brazil. Yeah.
But how did your husband adjust in Canada? Did he like it there? How it was for him
yeah,
to
he
Canadian?
loved it.
Because it's very cold there.
Yeah, and we lived in like one of the coldest places in Canada. But when you're in love, you don't really think about that stuff too much. And so he got a good job, and you know, he really liked, the job itself wasn't, you know, the most fun, but he had good coworkers, and he really liked the experience of living in Canada. I think for him, it was a lot different than living in Brazil. Like things there are more organized. There's more space. I don't know. They always refer to it as like a first world country, and things, you know, it's safer. So
Yes.
I think that he really liked the experience of living there. And sometimes he says he wants to go back there, and I'm like, no, I want to stay here.
You don't want to go back.
Yeah, sometimes I kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I think about it, but I just can't imagine leaving here, at least at this point. So yeah, but he really enjoyed
Canada. Where are you from?
I'm from Ontario originally, near Toronto, but
Okay.
I kind of moved around a lot, so I don't really know where my like home is in Canada anymore.
Yeah, I went to Canada in 2019, and I would say that I felt in love with your country. I really love it so much, and everything. People, the nature, it was so beautiful there, and people are amazing. And to be honest, if I could, I would really move there because my kids, they really love Canada so much. They're asking me every day, when will we go there? When will we go there again? I say, when the
Uh,
situation will become better, we can go there because my husband's uncle is living in Canada. And he's asking
mm,
us all the time, please come to Canada, actually move to Canada, just let's stay together next to each other. But it's really amazing country, I would say. Very comfortable, and you don't feel outsider there. You just feel like at home. I felt like that, really. So it's a wonderful
yeah,
place,
yeah,
I think. So we actually
yeah,
went to Ontario. We went to Windsor and Toronto, Brampton, all these areas. Yeah. So it
yeah,
was really nice. Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, and which tradition, may I ask, did you get married? Was it more like Brazilian wedding or more like Canadian style or both? How did it happen?
Yeah, it was very much Canadian style of wedding. It was kind of our own style. It was a very simple but lovely wedding. It wasn't expensive in any way. It was just, it was really nice because we had both moved to the Yukon kind of at the same time. So everything and everyone was new for both of us. We had to make new friends and make a new community, and the place that we lived was just amazing because it was very small, and when you live in a small place, like everyone knows, like, oh, there's new people that moved in, and oh, one's from Brazil, like that's crazy. So everyone knows you, and you just like fit into the community. And we were with the church at that time, so that's one really nice thing about being involved in churches, is that you go there and you're immediately with like-minded people that embrace you, most of the time. I'm sure not all of the time, but for us it was like that. So they helped us a lot with our wedding, and coworkers from the school I was working at. Yeah, so it was a really lovely wedding, but yeah, not Brazilian style at all. We actually didn't have any of our family there because it was really far away. But we did have another wedding with all of my family in Ontario a couple of months later. But we never ended up having a Brazilian wedding because it was a couple of years after we got married that we ended up going back to Brazil again. And then by that time I was pregnant, and all thoughts of weddings were gone.
Yeah, it might be totally different. I don't know how it is. How many days is Brazilian wedding? Is it 1 day or a few days? Or
Yeah. It's usually just one day, but it's like, I mean, at least the weddings that I've been to are like quite elaborate celebrations, like very fancy, um, very beautiful. Yeah, but and they are in Canada as well, but I feel like here people do more, like
Mhm.
they really go all out. Um, yeah,
Are there many Brazilians in Canada? Did you meet
I
any?
think so.
Yes.
Where we lived, there were not very many because it was so far north, pretty remote. But we did come
Mhm.
across a couple of Brazilians, which was really fun.
Yeah, that's nice. And how were your relation with your husband's family? What were their reaction when he told them that he's in love with Canadian? So how it happened?
I'm not actually sure what their reaction was, but they have always been super loving and accepting of me. I was kind of worried at the beginning because, oh, I'm taking your son away from you to go live in Canada, and I thought that they would be like upset with me or something, but they never expressed that to me. And yeah, they've been wonderful. So yeah, I'm very blessed to have such loving in-laws.
Are they living nearby or somewhere far away from you?
They live pretty close. My mother-in-law lives like 20 minutes away from us, and my father-in-law lives about 3 hours away, but he comes and visits us quite often. So it's really nice to be close to them for our kids and
Mhm.
for us.
I would imagine that you can speak Portuguese very well by now.
Sim,
Yeah,
posso
did you?
falar.
Yeah, did you learn it back in Canada or when you moved to Brazil?
No, I learned it pretty much all when I came to Brazil. Yeah, it was tough. I will say it was tough. Anyone who can speak a second language can relate. You know, at the beginning of learning a new language, it's just hard.
Yeah.
You feel like a 5-year-old, and you feel like, you know, everyone thinks of you as a 5-year-old because you can only say a couple of words, and it's very frustrating and very can be very lonely, very lonely. And I learned that. But you just got to go through it. And it took me about 2 or 3 years to really get a good grasp on like having a conversation with someone. But at the beginning of my time here, I had a friend, and I was expressing my concern of, oh, it's hard to learn Portuguese. And she was like, don't worry, you will, it'll just come. She was like so relaxed about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, it'll just come. And it did. You just got to practice. You just got to be open. You have to be willing to make mistakes, and, you know, just got to try and keep going until you got it.
Yeah, but did you learn mainly by yourself, or you attended any classes, or maybe the university somewhere?
I didn't take any classes. I've never taken a class of Portuguese. I just learned from speaking with people. The best thing that I did was I made friends with people who didn't speak English at all. And that was really lucky. I had neighbors that were really, really kind. And, you know, for some people, it's like really difficult to understand them, and some people it's easier. And they were like quite easy to understand, and they were very patient with me. So when I would go and visit them like almost every day, and we would just talk, and that's the way that I felt like, oh wow, I'm actually talking, you know, I'm having a conversation, and I was so happy. So that's like one of my biggest pieces of advice for anyone learning another language in a country is like, once you have, you know, a few words down, find some people that don't speak English, that are nice and kind and patient.
You can find someone like that here. I try to speak Dutch with people here, but they automatically switch to English, and they feel more comfortable to English, and so it's like difficult. And I think in Brazil it's much easier because not everyone speaks English there.
That's
so
right.
you can find someone to practice. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it's very difficult language. At least my Brazilian friends told me it's much more difficult than Spanish, Italian, so the Portuguese grammar is very difficult. I don't know, maybe for you it wasn't so difficult, but I tried to learn Portuguese, you know, via Duolingo, just try to listen to it, because I'm very used to Brazilian soaps. When I was little, they were so popular in Russia, and we were watching them all the time. So I just picked some words like obrigado, me Deus. I think I use this word all the time. Oh, me Deus. So just a few words. But when I tried to learn it, I found pronunciation was really difficult. So I couldn't really, they spoke so fast, I couldn't really understand what they're saying. So I thought, no.
They do speak quickly, yeah.
Because you need to practice the language, and I don't have anyone here from Brazil or from Portugal with whom I can talk in Portuguese. So I found Spanish was much, much easier for me, especially from a conversation point of view. Yes, it was.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I am more comfortable with Portuguese than Spanish. I did know some Spanish before, a little bit from school, but for some reason, I don't know. I think it's probably just being familiar and being around Portuguese. It just gets you familiar with it. But I didn't find it that hard. There are some things that are hard to pronounce. Like there's this sound, this like or like there's two words for brother and sister, and I found those so hard to pronounce at the beginning. For sister it's irmã, and for brother it's irmão, and it was really difficult to get that. But you just practice and you get it, and now it's no problem. So
yeah, you need to practice, otherwise you forget languages very fast. It's like that's what happened with my German, which I knew really good, but I didn't practice it, so now it's gone. I see one girl from Brazil joined us. Hola, Natalie. Yeah, is it also hola in Portuguese? The same like in Spanish?
Yeah, they do. They don't say hola here where I live very much. I do, but they mostly say oi.
Ah, okay. It's a little
It's
bit
more for
different.
hey.
Ah, okay. Oi.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you
and
can say hola.
yes, hola. Yeah, hola. Okay, it's more like in Spain they use hola all the time. If you go
Mm,
somewhere, yeah, I think in Portugal, maybe in Portugal and Brazil and all these countries. And I heard that it's also very different pronunciation, like Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese in Portugal. It's totally different. That's what I heard.
yeah, yeah. I was
They
speaking
might
to
not ever
someone.
understand each other. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was. There was someone from Portugal staying next to me one day, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to them," and then I was like, "No, I don't understand you," so I just left. So yeah, it was different.
Yeah, so you are used to Brazilian type, so it is difficult. And I would like to ask you, you are both from different cultures, different backgrounds. Were there something what was difficult for you to understand or accept in your relationships, or everything went smoothly?
Yeah, at the beginning, I think this is the main thing that I encountered. The difference between our cultures is the concept of time and plans. So in Canada, it's like you make a plan. Oh, let's have dinner in 2 weeks. Okay, you write it on the calendar. 2 weeks goes by, you have dinner, no problem.
Yeah.
But in Brazil, it's like, hey, let's do something sometime. Yeah, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then nothing happens for like a month. And then a month later, oh, hey, you want to get together? How about this weekend? Yeah, okay, maybe. Let's check in on the weekend, see what's going on, and maybe we'll do it. And then, oh, hey, sorry, something came up, I can't come. And like that for me was very difficult. I would be like
Yeah.
making plans with people, making like a lasagna, making food, and oh, sorry, something came up, I can't come. And I'd be like, oh my God, I just spent like my whole day making food for you. But I learned like just keep it simple. Maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's not. So sorry, that was more like a cultural
Yeah.
thing more than our relationship, but it does relate to my relationship in the sense that like and being on time, like I was like very on time person, like 5 minutes
Yeah.
before, 10 minutes before, I am there, I am ready. And my husband was like, it's okay, like we'll get there when we get there. And I was like, no, we have to get there 5 minutes before. And so we had to really like find a place where we met each other in the middle with that. And it did happen. I eventually became more like relaxed with my time, and now I'm like, we'll get there when we get there. It's Brazil, don't
So now
worry.
you don't come 5 minutes before.
Yeah, now it's like no problem. So at the beginning that was a bit of a struggle, but yeah, now it's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean because it's the same in Eastern cultures. Yeah, if you're a punctual person, it's really difficult to accept it and understand that because people can be late and it's normal. Yeah, so they're relaxed, they're enjoying life, they're not in a hurry. So it's
Yeah.
totally different culture. Yes, so you have to adjust yourself a little bit, yeah, to it. And I would like to ask, what do you like the most about Brazil now, after so many years? You're living there 7 years, and what do you like the most about this country?
I would say I love the people, I love the music, and I love the nature.
Something else?
I like the food too. The food is good. I love, there's a special food in Brazil called açaí, which is becoming more popular in Canada, anyways. And that's really delicious. It's like this berry that they kind of make into a pulp, and then they turn it into this kind of ice cream type of thing. And it's very popular here, and it's delicious. So I love
I
that.
never tried it.
Um, yeah, and yeah, there's all kinds of different things, but definitely the people. As we were speaking before, I love the friendliness of the
Right.
people, and yeah, just the overall culture is really lovely.
Yeah, I can see one more question. Yes. What is your favorite thing about living in Brazil?
Yeah, people, music, nature, and food.
Is there something what you don't like? What cause maybe negativity, what you cannot accept, understand?
Hmm. Um, I don't like how people are so divided about politics, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's such a unique thing to Brazil. I think there's division about politics pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
But I see people getting very upset. People getting very upset about political parties, and
Yeah.
understandably, there's a lot of things going on, and I won't pretend to understand it because I don't really follow it that much. But yeah, it's sad to see the division.
Yeah. Anything else? So you like everything
I
in this
mean,
country?
yeah, I guess some things are a little bit more disorganized here. Like, for example, I'm used to seeing like when you go into a store, like they'll have the store hours, and you're like, okay, they're open this day and this time, and this day and this time. And here, like, it can be totally possible that, oh, they decided to close for the day, or oh, they're late to work, or oh, this happened. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, we're gonna go to this store that's you know an hour drive away, and oh, I'm sure they'll be open, we're not going to call and make sure. And then we get there and we're like, oh, it's closed. And then I would get like, why didn't you call?
Yeah.
But so that's a bit frustrating sometimes,
Of
but
course.
it doesn't happen all that often, just once in a while.
But can you please tell what was your first impression about Brazil when you arrived there for the first time?
um I thought it was really nice. It was very rainy. It was in this month, it was in October, November, and it just like this year, it's raining a lot, so that was a bit frustrating. But I really liked it. I loved the friendliness of the people. Again, it was tricky because at that time I didn't know any Portuguese, so it
Hmm.
was harder to talk to people. But even so, we like made friends with people that didn't speak English, and we would have them over for dinner, and yeah, so I really liked the overall vibe, and it was beautiful nature wise. So I had a very good first impression, I think.
Yes. And what do you think? Did Brazil change a lot in these 7 years since you are living there, in a good way or in a bad way? What is your opinion about it?
I mean, other than all the COVID stuff, I don't think that it's changed that much. I mean, it's the COVID really like impacted, the social aspect, and even like the hugging and the kissing. Like
Yeah, of
now
course.
it's like, do you want a hug? Are you a hugger? Are you like a fist bumper? But one thing that I find funny is like Brazilians are so used to like hugging and kissing that even in the
Yeah.
pandemic, like they would still like touch each other somehow. And then I'd be like, you're touching each other. Like it's this, like you're spreading germs through your fist. But I was like, whatever. I still like appreciated the physical contact because I know that
Yes.
that's,
I can imagine
people
how
being
difficult it
loving.
is. Yeah, for Italians, for Spanish, it's very difficult not to be able to hug and kiss each other. It's a very common thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but other than that, I don't see that it's changed that much from my perspective.
But do you think did Brazil change you in any way?
Oh, change me. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. um, One kind of funny example that I have is Brazilians like to wear bikinis that like show your whole butt. And I was like very against that for like many years. And last year, for the first time, I finally bought a Brazilian bikini that like basically shows my whole butt. And now I'm like, whatever, it's my butt. If you don't like it, don't look at it. But it took me like a good 6 years to warm up to that idea. So it changed me that way. That's just a silly example, but I'm definitely more like open with time and plans and things like that. You know, if we make plans with someone, I'm like, it might happen, it might not happen, and that's okay. Um, yeah, I'm more like loose with that stuff. So yeah, and it's definitely actually my whole religious belief system changed while I lived here. I met some different people, and they just kind of opened my eyes and made me see like, huh, maybe my way of thinking wasn't the only way for, you know, for the whole world. Um, and I actually ended up dropping my Christianity, like religion, and which I, you know, something I never thought that I would do, but now I see myself as more of a spiritual person, still with a lot of the same, you know, principles, love and kindness and forgiveness and all that stuff. But that was probably the biggest thing that changed. And yeah, it's changed me a lot for sure.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It happened, I think, with everyone. It depends where you live. And you always change your own, hopefully for good. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we'll get some not really nice habits as well, but I think it's okay if you feel comfortable. Yeah, and you mentioned already that you have two sons. How old are they?
7 and 9.
7 and 9. And which traditions are you bringing them up, and which languages do you speak with them?
We speak English and Portuguese with them, mostly English. I mean, I speak mostly English with them. In the beginning, we pretty much just spoke English as a family. I would always say to my husband, speak Portuguese with them, you know, they need to learn. And then he would try, but 5 minutes later, he would be back to English. It was just like a habit that he couldn't break, even though Portuguese is his first language. But as they learned, you know, it did take a couple of years, but they learned Portuguese really well from, you know, everyone else in their lives. And now it's like they can go back and forth, no problem. And yeah, it's amazing. So they'll speak Portuguese and English with Nooni, my husband, and they speak mostly English with me, sometimes Portuguese. But yeah, so I would say our way of life is more like Canadian than Brazilian. But you know, it's definitely a mix. There's no way that it can't be a mix.
Yeah, it is always a mix. But do you celebrate some festivals which are maybe not common in Brazil, for example?
Not really. I don't know. I'm not a big holiday person. Like Thanksgiving, for example, is a holiday in Canada that just passed, and I didn't do anything.
Did you do something for Halloween?
Yeah, that's another really good example. Like here in Brazil, like they're starting to celebrate Halloween. Like there's some neighborhoods that are doing like trick-or-treating and stuff, and last year they actually went trick-or-treating. But I really don't like it very much. Like I like the community aspect of it. I like when you get to go and see people and the kids get dressed up and they're so cute and stuff. I really like that part, but I don't really like the candy and the plastic part. So unfortunately this year I was gonna let them go, but they had colds, so I ended up just saying let's not do anything, and next year maybe we will. So
but to be honest, I don't understand this festival at all. And I was looking at my Instagram and I saw everyone was celebrating Halloween. Everyone was dressed up. All kids are dressed up. I was asking myself, am I the only one who didn't celebrate it at all? I really got this feeling, yeah, because we didn't do anything at all. We just went out yesterday. We didn't prepare anything. So my kids were asking maybe we can get pumpkin, but we didn't get it there. So they didn't do anything at all. I don't know. I don't understand this festival really. So it's just people just spend a lot of money like for any other festivals, and they just do some crazy things according to me. All these dresses, like they look like vampires. I don't understand.
yeah, it's not my favorite. It's all right, but I wasn't sad. I wasn't sad that they had to miss out, to be honest. Although when I was a kid, I really loved it. So that's why I'm like, I don't want them to eat so much candy, but I also don't want to be the mom that's like, no, you can't have anything. So I would let them go if they were feeling better, but yeah.
Yeah, I can understand. But is there something like some Brazilian festivals which you don't have, like in Canada, something special in Brazil?
Yeah, there's like Carnival, but again, like my
Oh,
husband,
yeah.
he's not really into it, and I've gone to like one Carnival party before, but
Did you
I
like
don't
it?
know, maybe yeah, kind of. I don't know. I'm not really big into drinking and stuff, and it's mostly like drinking,
Ah,
being
okay.
crazy on the streets. So, um, I don't know. You know, I probably would like it if there was more music involved, like samba. Like I haven't never
Yeah.
been to like a samba carnival event, so I probably would enjoy that more. But as I've never been to one, I'm not really sure. But my kids are always like, we want to go to the carnival, because I think they think it's like something with rides and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this year we'll see what's going on, but I don't know. Probably nothing will happen. We're kind of a non-celebratory holiday family. We just
But
like, oh,
when does
another holiday.
which month does it happen? The carnival in Brazil?
February.
Ah, it's also in February. It's the same like in Italy. They also have a very special carnival, and it's always in February. So I was
Mm.
asking, maybe we can go sometime because to make some special gifts on our birthdays, but we didn't get the chance to go. Yeah, it would be really
Yeah.
nice. But it's at the beginning of February, or it can be on different dates.
I think it's the end of February usually.
Ah, oh, that's perfect. Just exactly on our birthday, we should come on time.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And you already mentioned a little bit, but how do you like Brazilian cuisine, and what type of cuisine do you cook at home? What food your husband like the most? Only Brazilian, or he prefers different types? Is he open to any other types?
Yeah, no, he's very open to all kinds of food. He actually cooks more and better than I do. And I prefer eating more vegan and vegetarian dishes, and he's okay with that. He still likes to eat meat, but so we do a big mix of things, but mostly we eat more like vegetarian food at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the cuisine here is more like it's pretty simple. It's like rice and beans, a lot of rice and beans. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of Brazilians eat rice and beans every single day with like a meat or maybe a vegetable or something like that. They also, the foods like that you'll find in the stores, like most commonly, are usually not very healthy, which is a little bit tricky. You get a lot of white flour, sugar, fried stuff.
Yeah.
It's difficult to go into like a normal corner store or market and like find like, oh, this is a nice healthy little snack. Like, no, it's going to be something that's not good for you. um, but the nice thing is that there's all kinds of fruits and vegetables that just taste amazing because they're more local and more fresh and things like that. So
Exactly.
I definitely eat a lot of fruit. I love like papaya and mango and guava, and like there's just all kinds of different like things that sometimes I see and I'm like, I've never seen this before. What is this? And so it's really cool to be able to experience different fruits and vegetables and things like that. That's probably my favorite part. And as I said, I love acai. There's this cheese bread that's called pão de queijo that's just amazing. I'm trying not to eat too much cheese, but sometimes I have these. I
They eat
can't
a lot of,
resist.
is it true? I don't know. That South Americans eat a lot of meat in general.
Brazilians eat a lot of meat. Yeah, they love meat.
Yeah, but is it difficult for you to survive being a vegetarian there?
No, it's not, because there's also a lot of vegans and vegetarian options. Like there's lots of restaurants, and there's kind of a movement, a vegan movement here. So it's easy to find things, and if you know how to cook different vegan things or vegetarian things, then it's easy to do.
Yeah, I think
The,
it's becoming more easy to find vegetarian food everywhere, because even here you find so many vegetarian burgers, everything. When my husband
yeah,
moved to Europe, he couldn't find anything. It was a struggle. There was nothing to it because he's vegetarian, and it was really difficult. But now there are a lot of options, and it's really nice.
yeah. Yeah, I will say that they have like what they call churrasco, which is barbecue, and it's trickier if you go to a barbecue to find some option. They usually just like put on all kinds of different meat, and then they like chop it up and pass it around to everyone. And or the one thing that they'll have is garlic bread as well. So they have some garlic bread and some meat, but like other than that, it's like
Yeah.
what do you eat? There's nothing else to eat. So if we're ever gonna go to a barbecue, we always are like, okay, well, what are we gonna bring that I can eat or something like that.
Yeah, and your kids, are they vegetarian or they eat meat?
No, they eat meat. They sometimes they're like, "Oh, we're not going to eat meat anymore because chickens are so cute and things are so cute." But my son always says, "I love pigs, but I also love eating pigs." Like,
Yeah, the
I
same with
know,
my kids.
I
Yeah, they
know,
love eating fish, and sometimes they say, "Oh, fish is so cute," and but they love fish a lot.
I know. It's really hard because I really admire and respect like the vegan outlook and the vegan diet, and I want to be a vegan, but I also understand the other side. I understand that it's difficult not to eat meat and animal products. It's so much a part of our culture and society, I think, and and almost the whole world. So it's hard to go against that sometimes. And like even like I went for quite a while without eating any meat or animal products. And then if someone around you has some and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have a little bite, and then you just kind of get more loose with your restrictions. And then, now I ended up me eating the chicken and fish and cheese again where I wasn't before. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna eat mostly plants, but if I eat an animal product once in a while, I'm gonna be just okay with it. Just kind of try not to be too strict with stuff because it can be kind of stressful after a while.
Yeah, and I think it's more difficult to be vegetarian when you live in a cold country. For example, in Russia, you can't survive without any meat at all.
Mm,
It's so cold most of the time, and maybe the same in Canada, yeah, especially in the northern part of the country. You can't survive. But if you live somewhere where it's always warm, sunny, when I go, for example, to some warmer places, I don't even feel like eating any meat. I don't know. You
yeah,
can easily survive with some salad, and you don't want to eat it. So I think in Brazil, it's much easier to keep yourself vegetarian
yeah,
than somewhere in some colder country.
yeah. You can definitely do it if you want to do that. It will be challenging sometimes, but mostly it's all right.
But how long have you been a vegetarian yourself?
Well, vegetarian. I guess for the last like 5 years, I've been like trying to be more vegetarian, more vegan, but I've never been like strictly vegan or vegetarian.
But why did you decide to become vegetarian?
Um, for the reasons of the environmental reasons, and also
Yes.
just I didn't like how, or don't like how most animals are treated in their life. Just some animals have horrible conditions, living conditions.
Yeah, that's true.
And I find that very sad because I'm a big, big animal lover, and I see cows and pigs and chickens like the same way as I do like dogs and cats. Like they can be very social and very emotional, and it just
Yeah,
like it
that's
breaks my
true.
heart to think about it. But again, like when it's so part of your culture and it's just there in front of you and you're just used to it, it's difficult to resist sometimes.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that if everyone could try to like eat less animal products, I think that would already be helpful. Not that you have to eat none, but eating less, reducing the demand for it, I think would be good, would be helpful for the
True.
environment and for the animals. So
Yeah. Do you have any animals at home?
we have a dog and a cat. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. My kids are really asking me to get a dog all the time. Please, please get a dog. And also, when I was a child, I didn't have a dog because I used to live in a small apartment, so we didn't have enough space for the dog. So my mother
Yeah.
bought me a tortoise, and they were so sweet. I really love them. And my kids say, "Okay, at least get a tortoise if you don't, if you're not ready for a dog." I say, "Yeah, if I get a dog, you have to take care of the dog. I know that I will have to do everything, and it would be like a third child, yeah, for us." So hopefully now
Yeah,
they're
especially to
big
get a
enough.
puppy.
Yeah, they can understand, I think, now that it's a lot of responsibility. So now maybe we will get a dog, because I think it's very
Yeah.
important that kids grow with animals. They appreciate them.
Yeah.
We really care about
Yeah.
them. My children, luckily, they love animals as much as I do, because when I was a child, I just brought everything at home. If I found some snails or some insects, I just brought everything home. My mother was
Yeah.
shocked. Oh, come on, why did you bring it? Some frogs, everything. And they're the same way. They will just see something and they just want to bring it home. So it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and it's
I'm the same way.
yes. And I know that you were both of you were in a long distance relationship for how long?
I guess it was like 5 months.
5 months. So you didn't meet each other for 5 months at all.
Well, we didn't actually see each other for 13 months.
13 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
And then,
how did you keep in touch? Okay, how did you keep your relationship alive? Because I know it's pretty difficult, like not to be able to see each other. I see some girls, they don't see their husband for 5, 4 years, and then finally they meet, marry, and I'm really I'm kind of surprised how they can wait for so long. I think it's so difficult. For me, even 1.5 months, because when we got married, I had to wait for my visa, and it took like almost 2 months.
mm,
I was going crazy. Oh my God, I want to meet my husband. We just got married, and we had to be separated, and it was really bad and sad
oh,
for me. Yeah, and I can't imagine when it's a few years, 5 months, 1 year. Yeah, how was it for you? How did you keep in touch?
yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said before, we spent like 5 months without talking at all. But then once we started talking again, we would email and, phone calls, Skype, a lot of Skype,
Yeah,
chatting.
Skype.
Yeah. So we just made it work. And, we knew it wouldn't be too long. So, yeah, we got through it. But it was tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because for me it's very difficult to understand. Yeah, because luckily it was only 2 months. But when it happened immediately after you get married, I think it's really difficult, because you want to be together with your husband and you have to be separate. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
nice.
I'm sure that was really hard.
Yeah, and what would you recommend to the girls who are now, for example, in a long distance relationship? How to make it easier, for example? And what would you recommend to the girls like who are dating Brazilian men? How to understand that they're serious about them? So how to prevent any misunderstandings maybe in future, because the cultures are totally different.
Hmm. Yeah, for long distance relationship, I don't know if I really have good advice. Just, at least now we have, it's so easy with WhatsApp and Skype and, all these video chat stuff.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
keep doing that and just know that it won't last forever. And one day you won't even think about it anymore. I remember like now when it was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like taking forever. Like every day seemed like an eternity, but one day when you're together again, you're going to forget about all of that. So just know that it will be over, it will end, and, you'll be together again soon. And for Brazilian part, um, I think it just goes back to what I was saying before about like just being more open and flexible. I think that's really important. I think it goes for any kind of culture. You have got to have an extra dose of flexibility and understanding, because there are going to be differences between your cultures. And so yeah, being flexible and open, and also communicating. You got to talk about lots of stuff. Don't keep stuff inside. Talk about it and figure it out. and come to agreements together. You know, compromise is a beautiful thing, and we got to do that, especially with cross-cultural relationships. So yeah, I would just say be extra patient, be extra loving, be extra open, and talking about things to figure things out.
But what do you think? Is it important to meet your husband's family before you marry him to see where he lives, where is he from, or
I
it's
would
not?
say that would be, I would say that is definitely important. I mean, I would never say like you have to or else it's not going to work out, like, because every single situation is different. But I think it would definitely be helpful. I had not met my husband's dad before we got married. I only met his mom and his sister. I did see where they lived, and yeah, that was very nice. But yeah, it's definitely helpful because it's true. Like you're marrying a person, but you're also, you know, going to be involved with that person's family for the rest of your life, most likely.
Yes, yes.
So it's good to, you know, be on good terms with them and get along as much as you can. Although I know that, you know, for many people, in-laws are a very big source of stress, and that's also normal. You know, we can't be
Yeah.
perfect, and yeah, definitely if you're in any kind of relationship, nothing, not everything is going to be perfect. That's just, you know, a given, but
Yeah, that's
you do
true.
have extra challenges when you are in a cross-cultural relationship with that. But it's okay. It's all worth it when you have, I think the one really beautiful thing about cross-cultural relationships is like you really know that you really want to be with that person because
Mhm.
there's so many struggles that you have to go through. There's the visa applications and, you know, the
Yeah.
moving to new countries. And you wouldn't do that if it was, you know, if it was not really important to you. So I think like that was really beautiful for me, was like my husband was willing to like move to a whole new country for me,
Mhm.
and you know, and then I was willing to do that for him too. Like I think you both have to be willing to live in each other's countries. That's, I do have I have seen in the past some relationships fail because only one of the people was willing to move to
Yeah.
one of the other's countries, and like that person is at some point gonna want to go back to their country to visit, and at least visit, you know. And I think that both people, it's, you know, it's best if they can both be willing to move anywhere for the other person. You know, like you can't be like, well, I'm gonna stay in Brazil, and if you don't like it, then too bad for you. Like
Yeah.
that's when it's probably not going to work out, you know, and unfortunately. So I think, yeah, you really got to be open to living anywhere that you can make it work. And I think most cross-cultural relationships, they do have that because they're just so, you know, in love with the person and want to be with the person that they're willing to do anything. That's how I felt anyways. I was like, I'll go to the moon and live with you if I have to, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, but was it easy for your husband to move to Canada? Because I heard
yeah.
a lot of paperwork, I don't know, for some particular countries. So didn't he face any problems? So it was, no.
We actually had a really smooth process. He came to Canada on like a visitor, a tourist visa.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he got there, we, and so he had 6 months. And in the 6 months, we got married. And then once you get married, you can apply for permanent residency, which we did. You can also apply for like an open work visa, which we only found out because we talked to the people on the phone all the time. And then they were like, oh, we do this. And you're like, why isn't that on the website? But anyways, so you find out things, and we applied for the open work visa. We applied for the permanent residency, and it did take a while. It took like 2 years to, I think it took less than a year to get the work visa, and
Mm-hmm.
then a full 2 years to get permanent residency. So then he wasn't able to leave the country until he got the permanent residency. So he was there for 2 years without leaving. So I think that was a little bit of a struggle, but you know, in hindsight, 2 years is not that long. So You do have to
Yeah.
be willing to do all of that annoying paperwork. But for us, it worked out really well. So I know that some people do have problems. You just have to be patient and follow their rules, and hopefully it will work out. And if not, you find a new country. It's easier.
Yeah, that's why many couples they choose third country for a while because it can be easier. For example, what do you think? Is it better to live in the country of one of the partners, or is it better to live in a third country?
I think that living in a third country is a great option because, and I'm not saying this from experience really, because we either lived in Canada or Brazil, but
Yeah.
when we both moved to the Yukon, it was almost like a different country for us. The culture was a little bit different. We both didn't know anyone. I knew one person that moved there with me, a good friend of mine. But we both didn't know anybody, so everything was new for us both, and that was really, really great. Like when I think about it now, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we both had that experience, because it can be really, really lonely for one person if like you go and you try to fit in with this other person's life and they have all their family and all their friends and their language,
Yeah,
and
that's
then there's
true.
just you and you're like hey, and it can be really, really challenging. So but you know, you can also make it work. Everyone has a different story, but I can see how that would be really challenging. So I think that living in a third country, or just somewhere new, like maybe it could be somewhere new in your country, but you know, something that you have to kind of do together. You know, like you make new friends together and you do things together. Like I think that's a really good way to start off. It worked really well for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really hard to generalize because every single person's story is different.
Yeah, because I personally believe that the best option is to live in a third country because we both live in a third country, and I don't want to live in Russia with my family because I don't think it would be the great option. It's not really safe there. The main
Yeah.
reason I would like to live there. And if to talk about India, I really love India, but there are also some things which are not really good, and especially for kids, I'm not super happy about educational system there, and health system is not that great. So there are some reasons. And here we are, okay, the only big problem here that we don't have anyone close by. Yeah, so for example, we don't have grandparents who can come visit us, who can stay with kids. So we are all, we are all alone here, so all by them ourselves. So it's not so easy. From that point, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what about you? Are you planning to stay in Brazil, or are you going to move somewhere else, or you didn't think about it yet?
Yeah, we're gonna stay here. We really liked living here, and we have a great, you know, community of people. We're really involved with the music scene here, and we have great musical friends and great other friends. And it just like anytime that I think about moving anywhere else, I'm like, but why would I move from here? It's just so wonderful. So yeah, it's we have a good support network with
Mhm.
our, you know, with family. And yeah, we're gonna stay here. We're looking at buying a place, so definitely we'll be here for a while.
Yeah, but what about your family? Do you visit Canada often?
No, sadly, it's been like 5 years since I've been home there. But I'm hoping, you know, when things settle down a little bit with the COVID
Mhm.
stuff, I would like to go back and visit for a little while, because it has been quite a while. But
Mhm.
as you know, it's difficult to travel with kids, and
Yes.
maybe now they're older. The last time we traveled, my younger son was 1, so that was, you know, that's always really tricky. But now they're so much older, so I think it wouldn't be as
Yeah,
tricky.
I think now it's much, much easier to travel with kids, and they really appreciate to see different places. I think kids really enjoy traveling, and as my kids, they're crazy about traveling. They started traveling when they were very little, so
Yeah.
they really want to go somewhere like all the time. Okay, when can we go? And it's difficult to explain them now, so that we can't travel so much. So it's really difficult, and I think it's not easy to go to Canada at all. at the moment. That's what I heard you.
No.
Yeah. And your
Yeah.
family, they never came to visit you in Brazil.
My aunt and uncle did come to visit us a couple of years ago, and that was really, really nice. My parents and my brother, they haven't come down. I think it's just far for them. If you're not really used to traveling far distances, it can be a bit daunting, you know. So, yeah, they haven't come, but who knows? Maybe they will in the
Yeah, of
future.
course. We should come to visit you and see all this beauty. Yeah, and nice people around. And but how far is it if you fly
Yeah.
from Canada to Brazil?
Um, Pardon, what was
Is
the
there
question?
direct flight? Is there direct
Oh,
flight from
direct flight.
Canada to Brazil?
Yeah, yeah, you can go from like Toronto to Sao Paulo, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's so far because when we went from Netherlands to Canada, it took 8 hours, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
or
think it's
six
like a
hours,
10-hour
maybe
flight.
6 hours. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Brazil is nearer for sure.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a 10-hour flight from Toronto to Sao Paulo, and then you have to get the other flight. Sometimes there can be a bit of a layover or something when you get there, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's all right connecting with Skype and Zoom and stuff right now, but I definitely miss them, especially when you go when it's like their birthday or a holiday or something and you haven't seen them for a while and you're like, oh, I miss them so much. So it's I can feel myself like really wanting to go back at least for a visit, but right now with all of the like restrictions and things, it's a bit tricky
Yeah,
right now.
this
So
is the most difficult indeed because I haven't seen my mother for 2 years and it's the longest I haven't seen her, and for me it's really terrible. And now
yeah,
again, everything is closed in Russia. It's a really bad situation there, and here it's not getting any better. So I wonder sometimes when the situation will improve and we will live normal life. So it's kind of
yeah,
difficult. And is
yeah,
it
I'm sure.
Brazil? Because I heard it was also pretty bad there.
Well, where we live, it's not so bad. Life seems pretty normal. We
Mhm.
still have masks everywhere. But other than that, mostly everything is open. We're doing live music again. People are doing parties again, and people are getting together again. So at least where we live here, it's quite nice, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it depends where you live in Brazil. Maybe in bigger cities they're
Oh
more
yeah.
strict. Yeah, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
there
heard.
could be. I think each state has their own, restrictions and things. So, and I'm sure like case numbers are different everywhere. It's such a big country, so I'm not really sure about other places. But all I know is where I am right now. It's pretty good.
So you can say that Brazil became your second home now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, that's the most important. When you feel like at home in the country, in a new country, it was a new country for you, yeah. Because not everyone is
Yeah.
comfortable. Most of the girls really sacrifice. They move for their husband somewhere, and not everyone is happy. I think it's important really to enjoy your life because our life is already too short, and you should try to see more positive things than negative things. Yeah, but not everyone can do that, unfortunately. So I really
Absolutely.
would love to thank you. It
Absolutely.
was really nice talking to you. I came to know so many things about Brazil, about you, and you are very positive, very friendly person. Yes, so it was really nice. I would
Thank
like to
you.
thank you again. I would like to thank everyone who were watching us. And so if you couldn't see this interview, you can see it in recording. So I will save everything. And let's keep in touch. I really hope that maybe one day we will meet. I don't know where, in Canada
Yes.
or maybe in Netherlands, who knows? Because,
Who knows? Who knows?
yeah,
Maybe you
because
can come visit us here.
yes, I would love to come really because it has been my dream for so long. I really love Latin American music. I really love the language, everything. So I'm sure I would
Yeah.
enjoy it. I'm very sure about that. So now I have a friend. So hopefully one day we
Yes.
will come. Just pray that the situation
Yes.
will become better and maybe in a year or so. So we will be able
Yeah.
to travel again. It's not a problem to visit different, because we both, me and my husband, we love traveling. If I could, I would travel every day. But you know, it's not,
That's nice.
yeah. So we can come only when kids have holidays, for example. So it's not always
Yeah.
possible. But what is the best time to visit Brazil? Which months are the best?
I think the best time to come is around March because
Right.
it's still warm like the summer, but all of the crowds have kind of disappeared. And in December, January, and February, it's very, very busy here, and at least where I live, it's very busy
Mm-hmm.
with tourists. And it can be a bit tricky, like driving around, because as it's an island, there's like not a lot of different like streets and ways you can go, so you end up being
Yeah.
stuck in traffic a lot. But
Yeah.
it's also a lot of fun, and if you like warm weather, then you'll love it. But I think March is really nice because you still get the warm weather, but less people.
Yeah, no, I love warm weather. The only thing I don't like warm and humid. That I can't stand really. Cold and
Mm,
humid or warm, because now I'm living in a very humid country, and I realize that it's not good for me at all. Not good for my health. I don't feel comfortable when it's plus 23 already. I'm feeling bad. I couldn't understand why, because I love hot. I can tolerate plus 45 easily, but when it's dry, it's fine. I don't know.
yeah,
Brazil probably is not. It's also humid, I think, or maybe not
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
It's pretty humid in the summer. It can be very humid. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I will surely come to visit. Yes, now it's in my must-visit country. It was in my must-visit country, so now
Yeah.
for sure. Thanks a lot for the invitation, and you are always welcome to visit Netherlands. Have you ever been here?
Thank you. No, but I would really like to.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful country as well, and very nice and friendly people, so I'm sure you will enjoy it. So you are always welcome, and thanks a lot again for joining me today. Thanks
You're
again,
so welcome.
everyone. Yeah, and
Yeah.
have a
Thanks for
wonderful
having me.
day.
Thank
Yes,
you. You too.
thanks a lot. See you again. Let's keep in touch. And when we
Yes.
come to Brazil, I will surely let you know in advance. Okay.
Great. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.